Through 4 races, it is Jacob Zala atop the point standings with a 9-point advantage, heading to the Milwaukee Mile. Tonight, these drivers will combat high speeds into long, sweeping corners with what will act as the first short track race on the season. I am Emerson Arden, and my colleague Will Tiller is alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening, and we're excited to be bringing you live coverage from virtual West Allis, Wisconsin, here on the iRacing.com motorsport simulations platform. Will, you've been privy to the action that this Fiverr Truck Series has brought, especially last week at Kansas. How do you anticipate, based on that, how these drivers will attack this flat 1-mile track?
Yeah, I tell you, Emerson, the Wicked Witch of the West ruled Kansas last week with all those caution flags we had until Corey Stahl was able to come through the storm and win that race. Here tonight at our first short track race of the season, I expect the same thing. I expect these drivers to come out quick, fast, in a hurry. A lot of anticipation in this race. You have 30 laps before that stage break, Emerson. Watch for these drivers to be hungry out of the gates.
Absolutely. And hungry out of the gates they will be, as we are now into qualifying here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. The times are ever so close. We'll take it to the timing sheet with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. It is a tie atop the standings, down to the hundredths of a second, and boy oh boy, this could not have been any closer. It really could not have been, but here we are. We're looking at Corey Stahl working his way around the Milwaukee Mile, going really wide there through turn number 1, trying to post a time here in that number 33 machine. Now, of course, last week's winner, and actually he comes to a halt. That will be his qualifying time. And do you see that, Will? It is a 3-way tie atop the board. Oh, goodness. What a start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is going to be indication of what we're going to see during this race. Corey Stahl, I think, is in a good spot there. Last week's winner in that 7th spot. Short track race in Emerson, you know there's going to be some caution flags in this race. You want to make sure you qualify in that prime position.
Right. So it's very intriguing how this one is going to work out today, right? Of course, you have to think about this is technically considered a short track, but it is a very wide short track at that. And the way you drive into these corners, right, it doesn't necessarily feel like a short track either. But definitely, when you get into the thick of it, when you're down there 3 and 4 wide, all trying to funnel into one lane with these Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series trucks, you're definitely going to feel the short track vibe tonight. The speeds are pretty high as you head down the end of straightaways here. And we're going to watch the 8 machine here. This is Nicholas Lawrence set a time, and the 8 machine will slap it up. Looks like it'll stay 24th quickest. We have Daniel Park in the 7 machine, going 11th quickest with 65 seconds left on the clock here in qualifying. Qualifying looked like it's coming to a close tonight. Now, Will, we are still relatively new to the Fiverr Truck Series. This is your second time doing a show with the Fiverr Truck Series. This is my first time doing a show with the Truck Series. But what we do know so far is that it has been a wild and entertaining series to this point of the season. You look at your point standings, right? It is ever so close. Zala is atop the standings with a win at Sonoma, and of course a 9-point advantage. And from then on, it is ever so close. I mean, you're talking about the top 8 within 40 and the top 12 within 60. So one full race's worth of points can drop you about 12 spots here towards the top of the standings. With timing coming to a close tonight, I think, Will, it's we have a chance to go ahead and meet our teams here in the Fiverr Truck Series. So let's get down to it.
Check out the teams here tonight in the Fiverr Truck Series on the Speed Racing Network. Here in Bird Dog Racing, we have Ben Park, Adam Schaefer, Jacob Zala, Troy Techmeyer, and James Kerr.
How about our next team here? We'll get a look at Blue Lightning Racing, Nicholas Lawrence, David Mayberry, Jason Green, and Joe Ruggles. Ruggles bringing the experience there at Blue Lightning Racing.
Checking out our next team here tonight, we have the DG Motorsports team. Just 2 dogs on that team. We have Dylan Goodness and Austin DeLong, 88 and 89, Emerson.
Godinez and DeLong bringing up DG Motorsports. Great team there. High Temp Revved Racing. Wow, that one's a mouthful, but a lot of great names here. Danny Dow, Blair Holloman, Madden, Nixon, Kosher, a lot of experience here. This team is one that could be we could be looking at tonight. In Phoenix Virtual Racing, Jose Castellanos, Sean Griffith, Matt Greathouse, Andrew Harris, and Jason Tripp. Another good batch of experience there.
Check out our next team here, Tank Racing. We have Dan Park, Derek De Silva, Mike Lapke, Bruce Emerson, and Walt Lipke. They're number 7, 16, 22, 28, and 64. Check out the garage shop here with Sean Cochran, Spencer Brown, Troy Brown, and Kyle Hess in the 86.
Looking at what's coming up next here, how about Fret Level Midnight Motorsports? Jeffrey Radke, Corey Stahl, last week's winner on there. Dalton McKenney, Jason Kratke, Wally Babb. I believe that's our Daytona winner sitting there in that 99 machine as well. Some of our independent drivers on the field, Mike Mosby, James Jackson, Rob Yost Jr., and Jesse Nikula. As we get back to action here at the Milwaukee Mile, it is time to go through our starting lineup, and there is your starting lineup on your screen as we speak. It's Matthew Greathouse, Dalton McKenney on the front row, Andrew Harris and Jason Green making up row number 2. In row 3, it'll be Jeffrey Radke and Sean Corcoran. Row 4, Corey Stahl, Danny Dow. And in row 5, Ben Park, Austin DeLong. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through the next 10 then, Will?
Yeah, checking out the 11th position, we have Daniel Park rolling off 12th here tonight. We have Bruce Armisen rolling off 13th, Michael Madden in the 14th position, Jason Kratke. 15th position, Jose Castellanos. 17th position is going to be that Nathan Nixon drive right there. 18th spot's going to be Blair Holloman. 19th position is going to be Dylan Goodness. And in the 20th spot, we have Dominic Adabello.
How about the next group of drivers? Wally Babb sat 21st, James Jackson 22nd, Sean Kosher 23rd, Nicholas Lawrence 24th, Troy Techmeyer 25th, Walter Lipicki 26th, Jason Tripp 27th, Kyle Ryan 28th, Jeffrey Vickery 29th, and Rob Yost making out 30th.
Rounding out our field here tonight with the 31st position of Jeffrey Vickery and Kyle Ryan in that 32nd spot right there here tonight. And Emerson, full field, expect chaos, expect calamity here on this drop of the green flag.
Absolutely, as the field of 32 Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series vehicles get ready to roar to life as the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane. Matthew Greathouse will lead the field to green. One chaotic lap completed. It's Matthew Greathouse still on top. We got Andrew Harris at second, Dalton McKenney, Jeffrey Radke, Jason Green, the top 5. And this is where it really gets packed up here. Looks like it's about 7th on back. Sean Corcoran on back, really dueling it out. Everyone's still trying to find their footing at this very single groove late racetrack. And now a lot of these drivers have found their way in line. We're now looking back at the likes of Michael Madden all over the gearbox of Austin DeLong.
Yeah, single file all the way back to that position with a 54 machine trying to crack inside that top 10. That's Kratke right there in the 14th spot. Now we're going to go single file all the way on the inside lane here. 3 laps into this race. You touched on it, Emerson. Everybody just trying to feel the pace, feel their position on the racetrack. You do have that stage break at lap 30, so you can't waste too much time getting that position.
Speaking about gaining positions, is Dominic Abatello up 5 spots from where he started in that 20 machine, now working to the outside of Jason Kratke. Might have to find his way in line as Nathan Nixon is right behind, and they all do sort it out. But up 5 from the start, Dominic Abatello, great run thus far. On the other end of that, Bruce Amsden down 5 from where he started in that number 28 machine. Amsden wishing he had better luck there on the start, and that Duluth Trading Chevrolet Silverado.
Yeah, you see guys trying to get up inside that top 10, but already Emerson early on in this race, we're starting to see a little bit of separation. Top three of Great House, Harris, and McKinney are separating from fourth right now, about a second difference from fourth to first. You drop down that grid all the way to the 10th spot, already a 3-second gap from Park in the 10th spot, and Great House, our leader.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Will. I believe our point leader did not make the start tonight, and that is already a huge storyline. Only 9 points to the good. I'm sorry, 9 points above at the top of the standings. So Zala, one of those drivers that's going to lose out on a lot of points tonight. Should others have some success.
Absolutely. This is the track though, Emerson, that you really want to perform at. Of course, everybody can race at a Talladega, a Daytona, a Charlotte, but to get a victory here at the Milwaukee Mile, not only will you have that race victory on this season, you have a bit of bragging rights because you won at what can be considered as a short track, but you talked about it very wide here, but we're not taking up all those lanes. Still a single file here on lap 7.
Absolutely. All those lanes, they really come to play on restarts, or right here where Jeffrey Radke all over the gearbox there of Dalton McKinney in the 46 machine. We can ride on board and look back. Then we see the gap there open up to Radke, but here comes Radke through the center of the corner. Looks like Radke has a great entry, and it's McKinney who prioritizes the exit, and he feels it down the straightaway. Looking at 150 miles an hour, nearly into the corner. Look at his drive into turn 1 from Radke.
Yeah, Radke's feeling him out for sure. He is knocking on that door. He wants to come inside, but not just yet, as still McKinney's holding it down in that 3rd spot. We're still single file. And now, Emerson, we have 5 trucks separating there as these trucks hold down the inside lane. It is hard to get around one another there. The 46 machine trying to get around the 87, but also what we're seeing here, Emerson, these drivers only have 3 sets of tires, so you could see some conserving going on here early on this race.
Conservation definitely is going to be the key, and 150 laps. This race is actually longer than I think these drivers anticipated tonight. So 3 sets of tires is going to really be stretching it tonight, Will. If you're looking at it, that really only splits this race into quarters at 150 laps. Well, you're looking at, oh man, you're looking about 37 laps really that you can get done on a set of tires without or I guess just split the race evenly.
Yeah, still single file on the racetrack.
Laps.
Yeah, we talked about that lap count here. That's a lot of laps here at the Milwaukee Mile as we're still single file here off of corner number 4. Great House still leading this race, 10 laps in. But you see it right here on the Speed Racing Network. 5 trucks now separating from the rest of the field as we cross that start-finish line.
Well, on our end, it is 150. I wonder if then we're going to keep it at 150 or if we're going to end this race at 105. Well, I guess have to wait then for what the admins will do, but if it goes to 150, that will alter the stage number as well, because if the stage number is 25% of the race length, then that may push the stage caution to lap 40.
And we'll have to wait and see here as the 46 machine of McKinney is now under fire. And you see a switch in position for 3rd, though. The 3 of Radke, they're side by side for that 3rd spot around the corner. But here comes Green in that 55. He has a courtside seat to this action here. He's waiting for a little bit of a window of an opportunity to come up here as it gets very tight in the corner. Emerson off of 4.
Very tight. Andrew Harris lost out on 2nd, now loses another spot as Jeffrey Radke roars to life in the 3 machine. McKinney off and away trying to catch the 51, a Great House, and Radke clears the 87 machine, and you have to wonder, is Harris in conservation mode, or did he already burn up the tires on that 87?
Yeah, he's trying to hold down position, just trying to stay inside the top 5 greens right there in that 55 machine down the backstretch here in the Milwaukee Mile. Right now, Radke in that 3, he looks to have a bit of a run going, but he has to catch that back bumper of the 46 of McKinney, who has now found his Ricky Bobby at the top of the grid as Great House will take us into 1 and 2.
We ride on board with Dalton McKinney as he tries to chase down race leader Matthew Greathouse, and it gets you a nice view of what these drivers are working with tonight and how just long and begrudgingly long these corners can be here at Milwaukee. Patiently waiting for the throttle as McKinney drives it in deep to the center of the corner, and you wait, you feel it out. Finally playing with the throttle. Now finally full power as he work it back onto the straightaway. That just a sliver of what goes on here. One lap at Milwaukee.
Yeah, McKinney in this 46th position, or 46th truck, I think is in a great position right there in second. He is just following the line of the 51 of Greathouse, and we talked about how this is a long race here tonight. You want to have some patience, but you also want to make sure you get some of those stage points at lap 30. If it does end on lap 30, those stage points will come in handy later on in the season.
And now Greathouse, if he looks off the tailgate of his number 51 machine, in that rearview mirror he sees a yellow and purple number 46 Chevrolet Silverado getting bigger and bigger in that mirror, and now playing with the tailgate, studying and searching for a way around is the 46. McKinney drives it down to the inside. Can he keep it up alongside the 51? Greathouse could have to run up off the corner, but McKinney drives it through the center. He's sideways as they come off of turn 4. Advantage 51.
Great save from the 46, though. You saw him use that side draft of the 51 of Greathouse to make sure he kept pace with all this battling going on, though. Here comes the 3 of Radke in the mix down the backstretch. We're side-by-side drag racing down the backstretch for the lead. Radke's watching in the 3rd spot. The 46 of McKinney will take the lead briefly on the apex of 3 and 4. As we come off of 4, the 46 will clear for the lead. McKinney leads on the start-finish line.
Dalton McKinney to the lead. Here comes Jeffrey Radke, though, not done yet, and he wants a piece of the action, and Greathouse is going to get absolutely mollywopped for 2 spots there in 2 laps. McKinney and then Radke robbed the 51 of that track position, and now Radke has the task. Can he chase down the 46 machine?
Radke's been putting in work the past couple laps to get some runs going here on lap 18. Now he is chasing down our race leader of McKinney, 46, off of corner number 4. You see that speed into the corner, Emerson. That 3 of Radke is a man on a mission trying to catch that 46 off corner number 2.
And nonetheless here, the stage caution is approaching, whether it's in 10 laps or 20. But if we're going off the default, or I guess the original stage length, then we have a stage break approaching here in about 11 laps time. This time by the start-finish line. Is that enough time for Jeffrey Radke to find a way around a 46 machine? We'll take a little trip further back in the pack, and it's Jose Castellanos going at it with Sean Corcoran.
You see that battle of the 17 just inching to the inside. Emerson, this looks to be our only battle on the racetrack all the way back here, as they're going to look to clear off of 2. They're battling for position back here.
Yeah, Castellanos clears to 13th, and now Corcoran under attack from Kratke. And it gets tied up ahead here. Corey Stahl, last week's winner, trying to fend off Danny Dow and Danny Park. The Daniels going at it on the rear end of the 33, and Dow has a run. Very shallow entry for the 2 machine. Slides up at the center, and they'll duel it off of turn number 2.
And Dow keeps trying to put that nose to the inside of last week's winner of Corey Stahl in that 33. Corey is trying desperately to get to the inside of the racetrack, but right now Dow is shutting that down as he will clear a little bit of a bad entry into 1 and 2, though. He will make up for that mistake, as still Corey Stahl in that 33 is trying to get down. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Emerson off of 2.
Truck down there, Stahl and Park come together, and Park still keeping the momentum up, even though he gets contacted there at the center of the corner, drives it in deep into turn 3. Don't slide up, hold it steady there. Park trying to get the pass complete, and he will do so. Up to 8th is the 7. Now Austin DeLong in the 89 out of DG Motorsports. Teammates with Dylan Godinez there. DeLong going at it, trying to complete that pass, slides up, and they'll go to work off of turn 2.
Yeah, Corey Stahl, you see in the 33 machine, is just trying to get to the inside lane. He knows the top side's not the fastest lane. He is losing positions by the minute, now down to 10th spot. And you're starting to see those lap times, Emerson, now crack into the 32s. Our leader actually just ran a 31.9. Dalton McKinney up at the top. So you're starting to see these lap times, increase just a little bit. Could be that tire wear issue we were talking about.
Tire wear is definitely a factor at this point of a race, as we are 23 complete, coming around to 24, and we're looking at, this is two teammates up here with Midnight going at it, McKinney and Radke. So I guess that's another layer to this battle. How hard will they fight one another? Dalton McKinney approaching lapped traffic. Then looks like that is Sean Griffith in the number 23.
Yeah, Emerson, actually, we just got slipped a note up here in the broadcast booth. Our stage break will be on lap 40 here tonight. So these drivers have about 15, 16 laps to go here in the stage, but they're scrapping it out like it's one to go here. Lap 26 in the books.
Well, if we're going to lap 40, then that means we are going to lap 150 toward the end of the race. Sean gets out of the way, and it's now McKinney and Radke separated by 4.5 tenths, dueling it out, still out in front of the field. The action back here then for 19th between Wally Babb, Blair Holloman, Sean Kozier. I'm sorry, Godinez, Babb, and Holloman then the top, are these three battling it out for 18th.
You see that battle raging on there on the front stretch. You also see some big movers in this race already. Look at Nathan and Nixon in that 38 machine up to 12th, up 5 spots from the drop of the green flag. I'm also looking at Daniel Park in that 7 machine. He's up 4 spots from the drop of the green flag. And Ben Park is right in front of him, up 3 spots from the drop of the green flag. Some big movers already in this race.
A little bit of chaos going on back here. A lot of moving parts. Nathan Nixon trying to fend off Castellanos. Castellanos under attack from Kratke. Corcoran wants a piece of the action. Looks like the lap car then there of Derek Da Silva out of the way. A lot of moving parts here in the midfield at Milwaukee.
And I think, Emerson, what we're going to start to see here is we're going to cross this line, make it lap 30 in the Fiverr Truck Series here in the Milwaukee Mile. We're going to start to see some of these trucks slide up the racetrack just a little bit. Those tires aren't going to allow them to keep riding that line on the inside. You see it already into 1 and 2 right there. A little bit more of a wider entry as you start to see those drivers early on in this race. We're going very, very low on entry, now preferring to go a little bit higher into the entry of the corners now.
You're right. Drivers searching for grip at this point of the run as well. This is gonna really test driver discipline, if you will, to slow down the truck enough. And whoa, a drive there to the center of the corner. Jason Green nearly contacting the left rear of Andrew Harris.
Yeah, you can tell Green is hungry for that position. He keeps bobbing and weaving behind that 87, just looking for that opportunity to get around. But it is very tough to pass here at the Milwaukee Mile. Those inside lanes is the best lane to do so. And you see it right off of corner number 4. He is hungry, but now we have a new race leader. Radke takes the lead from McKinney, but he checks up big on the exit of the corner. The 46 of McKinney now right on that back bumper into 3 and 4.
It happened so quick. It was somewhat building, but there must have been maybe some mutual communication here between the teammates to not make that one so hard. Jeffrey Radke takes the lead away into turn number 1 over Dalton McKinney. And we return back to then the battle for 4th. That is still as hot as ever. Hot and heavy between the 87 and the 55. Near contact entering 1. Ben Park wants a piece of the action. And then the 13 nearly slides up to hit the to tag the 87. Now everyone figuring it out. Jason Green clears up to 4. Park wants to move forward.
Yeah, and you see it right there, Jason Green, the 55. He had to check up on that corner, trying to find grip. As you mentioned, Emerson, the 86 is right there as well. Harris, Ben Park is in the mix. These guys are just outside of the top 5 right now. Andrew Harris holds that top 5 spot locked down in that 87 machine. I know Ben Park wants to increase that position before we end the stage. We're going to ride on board with Park right now to see if he can find that opportunity down the backstretch.
Here, Park used the full extent of that third gear, and it appears this is a 1-gear setup, but not a 4th gear setup. You see there the lack of grip there for the 87 machine of Andrew Harris, and Harris trying to combat lit up rear tires to the end of this stage. The closest battle on track. And it's a good one at that for the last spot in the top 5. This is a difference of 1 point. Park looks to the inside, wants to send it, tries to stick the nose in there. Wrapping the inside curbing, and Ben Park clears the 87 of Andrew Harris. More action back here then from Dan Park. Brother to Ben up in the up a couple spots ahead. Danny Dow, Austin DeLong catching the 87 of Andrew Harris. And so Dan trying to join brother Ben in the top 5.
Yeah, trying to crack inside the top 5. The Park brothers doing great here tonight. Ben Park up to 5th. Daniel Park up to 7th. Both identical spots increased on that starting grid. Both up 4 spots from the drop of the green flag. But everything right now is Radke in that 3. Almost has a second lead on the 46 of McKinney. It's 3 seconds on 3rd spot of the 51 of Great House. Radke is running away with stage number 1.
It certainly does appear that way, and you just have to think, if you're one of these other drivers, right, that, you know, maybe you burnt up your stuff. How do you combat it? How do you do better? Oh, and sideways! Is that your contacts, the race leader?
He keeps it clean. He's cool though, Emerson. Be cool. Be cool on the racetrack. The 3 machine of Radke is keeping it moving, keeping it grooving down the backstretch. Was almost disaster. Now you see the 46 of McKinney stuck in that hornet's nest of lap trucks as well. He'll clear out of that, trying to catch up to that 3 of Radke as we're off the corner. Going to make it 2 to go in the stage.
Goodness gracious. Looks like 3 laps to go then in the stage. If we are going to the completion of lap 40, then 3 to go for Jeffrey Radke at a 1.5 second advantage. He lost a little bit of that advantage to Great House working through the lap traffic. And at the moment, it looks like Nicholas Lawrence holding the beneficiary position. Look a little ways back before we get to the end of this one. Dan Park, Austin DeLong still going at it for a stage point there. Or the difference between 2 and 3 stage points.
Yeah, and just looking at the lap times to end out this stage, our race leader of Jeffrey Radke ran a 32.5 last time by. Second spot, Dalton McKinney ran a 32.3. So you're starting to see a little bit more speed out of that 46 and the 51 of Great House. Maybe pushing that envelope just a little bit here to end the stage.
Coming off of turn number 4, it'll be 1 lap to go then in stage number 1 for Jeffrey Radke in the 3. Now opens up a near 2-second advantage over McKinney and has 12 seconds then to 10th position, Michael Madden. Down the back straightaway for the final time in stage 1. Maybe, and the caution does come out, so... Oh, cool. It's because we had an accident on the track. Corey Stahl has had an accident in turn number 1. Oh, that will end the stage prematurely. As we'll try to find what happened then to the 33. Last week's winner in trouble. And here we go. Corey Stahl then. Looks like he's battling it out. Oh, it just loses it on entry and noses it into the outside wall. Goodness gracious.
And that's very unfortunate. Last week's winner at Kansas had a great run there, was actually able to survive all those cautions, all the chaos there at Kansas that provided in that race. Ford was having a decent race here tonight. Emerson, he was cracking inside the top 10, sort of bobbing inside of that. But we talked about that tire wear becoming an issue here at the end of the stage. And boy, he had no
Oh,
control of that
man.
33 on the entry of that corner.
It looked like either a downshift or something amiss then for the 33 machine, because that did not look like a natural movement for Corey Stahl into the corner. I'd like to see if we can get an onboard real quick before we carry on with this one. This is Corey Stahl. Yeah, it looks like a wheel hop like you would see on a road course.
Yeah, we've kind of seen that happening, Emerson. We've seen drivers testing out different lines, maybe going wide, maybe going inside in the corners. And I think right there, Corey may have just thought about the inside lane, outside lane, maybe try to get that truck slowed down on the entry of the corner. And sometimes a truck will just get out from underneath you. And we know those tires were becoming an issue as the entire field did head down pit road underneath this caution. So maybe between the tire wear, a lane choice there, it could just spell disaster at a track like Milwaukee.
Absolutely. So Corey Stahl, unfortunately, prematurely ends the stage that he had two teammates sitting 1-2 in. We will have the chance to try to talk to our stage winner then driver of the number 3 of Jeffrey Radke. And Jeff, you are back in the pit lane. I guess first, what's the issue here on the 3 machine?
Spotter never let me know where pit box was, and everybody in the chat was talking, and I just kind of drove by it. So,
Oh goodness.
Start in the back here and see what we can do to get back to the front.
Well, I was about to mention there's a lot of pace in this number 3 machine tonight. Now you're going to be on the back foot here to start stage number 2. Granted, you have 110 laps to sort it out. That track that's very hard to overtake. What's your game plan now?
I think I'll be all right. Save my tires like I did in the first stage there. Do the long runs. Still had another 15 laps to go on that run of fuel. So if I can just keep it clean and keep the tires under it, I think I'll be good.
Absolutely. And that stage was a very fun one. You had to chase down pole sitter Matthew Greathouse, duel it out with the likes of your teammate Dalton McKinney. Just how much fun and what was going through your mind through that 40 lapper?
Oh, that was a blast. Just kind of waiting for the tires to come in, see who's going to use their stuff up first, and not let the leaders get too far out ahead of me. I knew Dalton was going to be pretty tough there for a while. I just kind of waited until his stuff fell off and made the pass nice and clean and finished it off. But hopefully we can do the same thing here at the end of this race.
Out of Fret Level Midnight Motorsports, stage winner, driver of the number 3, Jeffrey Radke. Congratulations on the stage victory. Best luck to you the rest of the way.
Thanks.
And that was our stage winner as he works his way into turn number 3. The field in the hands of Dalton McKinney as the iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane. And it is racing once again from Wisconsin. Side by side, and it's Dalton McKinney trying to fend off Matthew Greathouse, the pole sitter, Jason Green, and we have an accident in the back. Caution's going to come out. It's Adam Schaefer.
That 21's already down pit road here. We'll check out that instant replay. Boy, that first caution came out. Now Emerson, they're starting to fall like dominoes.
Absolutely. We'll get a look at it here with the 21 machine of Adam Schaefer. He was not running all that bad. He was up there, I believe, or a lap down. And trying to stay out of the way. And it comes to a stop. The caution comes out. I'm not entirely sure what went awry for the 21 machine. We'll get one more look at it from the onboard. And try to deduce what happened.
It almost looks, Emerson, as we're revving up that replay for the folks at home, it looks like almost exactly what we saw on that first caution of the night, where Corey Stahl goes onto the entry of the corner and just goes completely sideways. That looked like exactly what we saw at Corey Stahl in that 33.
But very different at the same time. It sounded like Corey Stahl was still very much underpowered. It almost sounded like Adam Schaefer lost power in that 21 machine, but it's not really something we see here on the sim, where mechanical failures come to bite you, unless it's in real life mechanical failures or something amiss really then for the 21 machine of Adam Schaefer. But he quickly made an exit out of the session, and what that means is we're approaching the 1/3 mark. We're going to quickly throw it to our commercial sponsor here at the Speed Racing Network. Quick message from Butt Kicker. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, race fans, back to virtual West Allis, Wisconsin, and the Milwaukee Mile has produced a great show thus far. 2 cautions tonight for incident. The field in the hands of Dalton McKinney as the iRacing.com safety will find its safety down in the pit lane. McKinney in the 46, Great House in the 51. Green flag from Milwaukee. The field all packed up means great racing out in front. Dalton McKinney, with his newfound track position out in front of the field, now has to fend off Great House in green. And we're doing this once again. We'll make it back around to the start finish. 1 lap complete from the restart.
Yeah, the 46 of McKinney had to get down to the low side there, throw the block on the 55 of green. Right now, the 46 of McKinney's under fire down the backstretch. He wasn't used to this during that stage run. He was clear sailing, listening to smooth jazz, sipping on some Perrier water. Now he's got some work to do off of corner number 4.
Lots of work to do. When we'll see here, did anybody take notes? Anyone learn from the opening stage just how hard or how much you should not push these tires? 24 drivers on the lead lap, and a lot of them dueled it out very hard in that opening run. And now you had a caution, 2 cautions to think about what you're gonna do to attack this stage. McKinney holding station out in front. We'll find our way back to where it's really all riled up back here. Everyone still knows the tail, and now we got some drivers fighting up the track. There you see the 28 of Amsden. Looks like he's with Techmeyer in the 32. Everyone all over the place trying to find a spot in line.
Yeah, one thing to take in consideration as well, Emerson, as we're going to race it down to lap 150 here tonight. You saw the tire wear start to come into play in that 40 lap run we had. So how long can these drivers push these tires? You're probably looking at around lap 80, 85, 90 range. Then you have another 50 laps to go here. So expect some more pit stops down the road.
Absolutely. We're looking at least one green flag pit stop tonight, and at that's asking for a lot. So, you know, we'll see what strategy is gonna play out the best for these drivers tonight. And again, this is where most of the action is back here around that 23rd position. Abatello and Lawrence going at it. Looks like for last truck on the lead lap, and now Dan Park, Nathan Nixon. I'm sorry, Dan Park and Austin DeLong going at it for 9th.
Yeah, DeLong in that 89 is going to go in the inside route, but Park in that 7 with a huge run on the top side will get that position back. They're going to go John Force drag racing.
Oh, the 17 is going to go around.
Big flag.
Jose Castellanos is not facing the correct direction on the back straightaway, and a third caution in quick succession here at Milwaukee. And we saw most of that one live, but we'll grab that replay. Goodness gracious. And what I would like to do would be to try to get some sort of overhead view, and we'll look at it here. It looks like the 97 and the 17 come together. Sean Kozier maybe a little lower on corner exit than Castellanos was expecting. They came together, and Castellanos big time air as he slaps it up the Wisconsin State Fair Park decals there off of turn number 2.
I gotta say, Emerson, for that 7 machine, it's never a good thing when you're facing oncoming traffic.
Yeah, 17 of Castellanos definitely was not a fan of this view, seeing several Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series vehicles heading straight at your direction. Big time damage, by the way, as well, especially to the sides, and I wonder if that had any impact then on underneath the hood of that 17 machine. And so there is Castellanos receiving service on the pit lane. The field in the hands of Matthew Greathouse. You have the likes of Dalton McKinney, who has already made his 2nd stop tonight. If there's 3 sets of tires for these guys in the pits, that is 1 set of tires left with 94 laps to go.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of gambling on maybe a late race caution in here. If you sort of do the math, 40 laps, you're starting to see those trucks slide on those Goodyear Eagles. Sort of doing math right now at around 58, 59. That puts us at a lap 100. You're going to have one last set there to the end, probably around lap 140, 145. Very, very late. So I'm expecting these drivers maybe gambling on a late race caution here tonight.
I'm thinking the opposite. They're not going to have a set of tires for a late race yellow. If there's only 1 set of tires left in the pit for the 46, he wants this bad boy to go green. I think if you're Matthew Greathouse, then you have that extra set. That's a driver that could be a beneficiary of a late race yellow if he has a set of tires late in the pits that the rest don't.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out on the 46 of Dalton McKinney, who did head down pit road there. Michael Madden, Daniel Dow headed down there as well. Nathan Nixon, Daniel Park, Blair Holloman, Rob Yost Jr. So a lot of drivers there towards the back end of that grid now are drivers to watch out for to see if that speed really makes a difference, because you're looking at around a 15 lap difference between our race leader and Dalton McKinney in that 46.
On the other end of that, you look at drivers. Matthew Greathouse, of course, took the lead he started on pole. Andrew Harris, but then now you're looking at drivers like Ben Park, Austin DeLong, Sean Corcoran. Dylan Godinez up 13 from where he started. Wally Babb up 14 from where he started. Kratke and Radke and Troy Techmeyer up 15 from where they started because of this strategy call here. Split strategy amongst the Speed Race Network Fiverr Truck Series field is going to produce a very intriguing restart. And so, as the field rounds it off of turn number 4, the iRacing.com safety vehicle will make that hard left-hand turn into the safety of pit lane and return control of the field into the hands of the 51 of Matthew Greathouse. Alongside Andrew Harris, green flag is back in the air. And off of turn number 4, it is still Matthew Greathouse out in front. And this is where discipline is really going to be key. It's 3 wide here between Dalton McKinney, Danny Dow, and Wally Babb. Babb falls back. Dow still going at it with the 46. And you just have to think, how hard do you push those fresh tires this early on the run? You don't want to push too hard to be out of those tires later.
Absolutely not, but you're already starting to see what that new equipment will do for the 46 machine of McKinney. As now he's choosing that high side lane. Looks like he will notch another position in the books. He's trying to get around Daniel Dow in that 2. He's going to go top side, follow around that 88. Now he'll get stuck on that top side. He'll try to go low. Emerson is very tight off of 2.
Dylan Godinez nearly had to go on the 3 of Radke, and Godinez thinks better of it, but Danny Dow now the one on the aggressive to the inside of Godinez, and now McKinney coming through as well. Dow to 7, McKinney to 8, Godinez back to 9. Radke holding station in 6th. And now Madden on Godinez. Madden to 9, Godinez back to 10. Godinez, one of those drivers who did not pit, struggling a little bit. Also, Wally Babb in the 99. Troy Techmeyer in the 32. Jason Kratke in the 54. All being fairly conservative with their restarts.
And we talked about it on this restart, Emerson, as we watched the 46 of McKinney increase another spot on that grid. Also, the 3 of Radke's trying to get up there as well. Talk about the difference of new equipment and what that's going to make here. I'm not seeing any difference at all. Everybody in the field in this Nokia Snake line all the way down the backstretch, they're all running 31s around this course. So it doesn't matter about those fresh Goodyear Eagles just yet. Wait until that tire wear starts to come into play, as now that 46 machine of McKinney's right on that back bumper of 3 of Radke as we cross that start-finish line in corner number 1.
Crossing that start finish line, that leaves 86 laps to go here from the Milwaukee Mile. And it's Jeffrey Radke, the driver, under pressure here from Dalton McKinney. And so it is teammates going at it then from fret level. And McKinney into the top 5. The first driver on 4 fresh Goodyears, 4 new boots on that 46 machine, paying dividends thus far into the run. Now Austin DeLong under attack from the 46. And McKinney will grab another spot. Move McKinney into 4th. As Blair Holloman makes easy work of Sean Corcoran. Corcoran losing positioning here as Nixon files past, and Godinez nearly contacts the 43 of Corcoran, and now Godinez is going to be on through the 99 of Wally Babb, trying to get positioning on the 43 as well.
Yeah, you're starting to see an influx of drivers with that new equipment inside of that top 10. I'm looking at the names of Daniel Park, Blair Holloman, Nathan Nixon just outside of the top 10, Michael Madden right there as well. Daniel Dow in that 2. He's creeping up that grid, but boy, Dalton McKinney is slicing and dicing this field up like Uma Thurman and Kill Bill. Now up to 3rd, and you see that gap on the left side of your screen. It is decreasing as time goes by.
And McKinney trying to get a move on before anyone else, the likes of Danny Dow and Matt and Dan Parkett, before they emerge out of the field of trucks on old tires. Because if they come out, McKinney wants to get out in front of the field as quickly as he can to build up a gap to those other drivers on freshies. And so McKinney in 3rd, trying to size up the 87 of Harris, and it's Danny Dow now clear of DeLong. Madden wants the 89. He's gonna force it to the inside of the 89 of DeLong, and Madden finding the power and the drive up off the corner. McKinney finding to descend into turn 3, trying to keep it pinned to the inside of the 87 of Andrew Harris. Harris leaving just enough room, not playing nice with the 46 as they duel it off. Oh, and a block from Andrew Harris.
And you see the battle still rages on the apex of the corner. The 46 of McKinney is trying everything he can to get around the 87 of Harris, but Harris said, I'm holding down this 2nd spot, as again the 46 is going to try to the inside into 3 and 4. It looks like he'll have that run off the corner in the apex. He briefly touches that apron. He'll ride that momentum off of corner number 4. We're still side by side in the corner number 1.
Not clear yet of the 87. Here comes McKinney. He clears Harris, and Danny Dow is right behind. How much did McKinney have to use up his stuff to get through the 87? And now how aggressive will Dow be as he sees the theoretical leader on fresh tires just in front of him around this 87 machine?
He's testing that outside lane. You'll see coming off the corner if that 2 can get the nose to the inside of the 87. And it looks like it will, coming off of corner number 4. Dow in that 2's trying to follow the run of the 46 of McKinney, who is now chasing down our race leader, the 51 of Greathouse, off of the corner here. And Dow will take that spot. We have a new top 3 on the board.
McKinney and Dow back. Well, McKinney back into the top 3. Dow new into the top 3 onto the podium. And Matthew Greathouse is in trouble. 2 drivers on 15 lap fresher tires are quickly approaching the tailgate of the 51 machine as we approach the halfway mark here from Milwaukee. Lots of battling here. Michael Madden on Andrew Harris, and now Harris is going to feel the effects of aggressive driving on old tires, very much so. Madden on through. Here comes Ben Park in the 13. Harris slots in. And the gap quickly dwindling for the 51 of Greathouse. This one is going to be a very hard one to justify fighting off, other than it is for the top spot at the Milwaukee Mile.
And boy, it looked like flames coming off the back of those Goodyear Eagles for the 46 machine of McKinney. Came into that corner with a lot of speed. Will jump down to the battle to stay inside the top 10. There goes Park trying to get around the 10 machine. Oh, Holman. It looks like he will do that off of corner number 4. Nixon's watching that in that 11th spot. A lot of moving and shaking inside of that top 10. But we'll jump back up here to our race leader, Matthew Greathouse, who's trying to hold the spot from the 46 of McKinney down the backstretch. He's doing a great job as we go into 3 and 4.
McKinney sees his chance. He sends it into the corner. Greathouse disciplined up high. McKinney tries to regain with the regather with the grip down low, nearly sideways up off the corner, but that time McKinney holds the 46 straight and he'll slide on by Matthew Greathouse into 51, and Dalton McKinney reclaims the race lead at Milwaukee.
And I think of Emerson, for me, the 46 machine of McKinney. I think his entries are just so crisp and clean right now. It's going to be very hard to chase him down here. Although Matthew Greathouse is still holding pace up at the top of the grid. But you see the 87 of Harris right now is trying to keep from free falling right now. Shot at the Tom Petty. He's got some fast trucks behind him trying to get around. There's the 13 of Madden. He keeps trying to the inside, but you know how hard it is to get around the 87 of Harris.
The 13 of Ben Park, that time he's gonna make contact with the tailgate of Andrew Harris, and now Jeffrey Radke a little impatient behind the 13 machine, and all of a sudden the pressure's on Ben Park to find a way around his 87 quick before he gets used up out of the racing groove. Near contact then between Radke and Park, and they're going at it side by side, which gives Andrew Harris some breathing room, and now here comes Radke.
Yeah, Radke's trying to get back up into that penthouse position. One of the fastest trucks we've had here tonight. Although that equipment is old right now, they're all rocking with that last pit stop around lap 41. But you see the speed out of the 3 of Radke now trying to hold off the 13 of Park. This is a battle to try to get inside of that top 5. We'll jump back to Harris though in that 87 machine. He is trying everything he can, although that truck is slipping away from him here on lap 80. He doesn't want to let the 3 go by here into the corner.
Now another challenger to the tailgate of the 87 machine. Andrew Harris is trying to baby what is left of those virtual Goodyear Eagles, burnt up as those 4 tires are. Radke trying to find a way down to the inside, and I gotta give it to Andrew Harris. It is some brilliant defense here on some very aggressive, very meticulous driving from the 3 of Radke and the 13 of Ben Park from earlier. Andrew Harris doing a fine job holding into the top 5, but for how much longer? Radke all over the gearbox, trying to strip the wrap off that tailgate of the 87 machine.
Yeah, the 87's trying everything he can into 3 and 4, and there goes the 3 once again. Will he have enough here? Off of 4? Oh, man.
Oh, ever so close. Between 5th position Harris, 6th position Radke. Holloman up to 7th over Nixon, Park, DeLong, the rest of the top 10. This, of course, all going on 5.5 seconds behind race leader Dalton McKinney, who has a 2-second advantage over Greathouse, and Radke drives it in deep near contact again with the 87 machine. This is some heroic defense from Andrew Harris. And Radke down to the inside. Is that it for Andrew Harris?
Oh, he's not giving it up easily there on the top side. The 87 machine. I know defense wins you championships, but offense scores you points. And you see what this battle has done to the rest of the field. Although Radke is up to 5th, he now has 3-second gap between him and Madden in that 15 machine, who holds down that 4th spot. So although those heroics were awesome to watch here on the Speed Racing Network, it has caused a huge gap between 4th and 5th.
A 3-second deficit then for Jeffrey Radke on a 14 lap older tires. Will be quite the mission for him to try to regain any of that track position without the help of that magic yellow cloth that lies a rest in the virtual flag stand beside virtual Barney the flagman. So Blair Holloman, now the next challenger to the 87 of Andrew Harris, and now we get to see just how much of a difference Jeff Radke and Andrew Harris's tires are. With the difference, I'd say it says 1 lap on the scoring tower, but that was all under caution. So we'll say essentially equal aged tires and not equal used tires, as it is clearly a difference between Radke and Harris. Now Harris misses the entry into 3. Holloman contacts the 87.
Whoa, it's getting very feisty right there. The 10 of Holman is trying to hold off Nathan Nixon in that 38. My goodness, and he's going to touch that back, baby, on the apron.
And Blair Holloman, he realizes we are racing stock cars. They're using fenders. They're beating and banging.
Just a little bit of elbows in the paint here in Milwaukee, just trying to inch his way around the racetrack as the 87 of Harris was trying to keep him in check right now. Oh, my goodness gracious, they made contact Alpha 4.
Holloman sideways, 3 wide. Here comes Nathan Nixon through the center. Contacted again. Nixon tries to escape the melee, and it's now Holloman. He puts the 87 in the wall.
Oh my goodness, Emerson, what are we watching right here into
short
3
track
and
racing?
4?
Short track racing. That is what we are watching, Will. Oh my goodness, that was fun.
Yeah, the 86, I don't think we've seen the last of that 87 machine of Harris right there. I'm sure he is very, let's just call it esteemed inside of the cockpit of that truck, trying to get up to the 10 of Holman.
I'm sure he's going to have a different interpretation in Blair Holloman's use of racetrack there, but you know what that gave us? It gave us fantastic action, and you know, you can argue the, you know, who's right and who's wrong in that position. But Holloman sat and saw just how aggressive the 87 was defending and said that he's got to be just as aggressive on the offensive. And so it produced a great racing product. That's all I'm going to say. We will leave that entertained. Maybe the 87, not so much.
Absolutely. As long as no trucks get destroyed, nobody is taken out of the race, I'm all for it. There was just a little bit of rubbing is racing, as they like to say, Emerson.
Yep.
And the 87, though, still got a very fast truck here tonight. I'm sure he'll rebound back inside the top 10 here soon.
We'll just have to wait and see, as we are 62 laps away from conclusion here in virtual West Allis, Wisconsin. We're watching Daniel Dow now under heavy fire from Michael Madden.
Daniel Dow actually has fresh tires. So does Michael Madden in that 15. We haven't even talked about the 51 of Matthew Greathouse, who still has old equipment, although still holds it down in that second spot and has been in that spot now since the drop of the green flag since our last caution. But this battle for third, boy, is heating up down the backstretch.
Side by side now. Down the back straightaway at the Milwaukee mile. Madden throws it into the corner, and he'll clear up in front of Danny Dow. Both of them in those sparkle and shine Toyota Tundras. Madden up to third on Danny Dow.
And you see things getting very testy here at the Milwaukee mile already. Those passes, those moves that we saw early on in this race, these drivers now are not allowing it. You actually see racing stripes on the right side of the 87 of Harris, who's now trying to get that top 10 position back from DeLong here off of corner number 2. A little bit of damage to that 87. I wonder if it's going to slow that pace at all.
It'll be intriguing to see, right? These trucks, they get affected differently than, say, you know, the B car here on the iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations platform. Definitely different than the A car. The truck, it pretty much is a virtual brick on wheels, if you will. I don't believe it'll do all that much. It already isn't all that aerodynamic, but it may hurt a little bit on when you try to get it turned into the entry of the corner. That's maybe where you're going to feel the most of it.
Absolutely. And you see the 87, he is just now sliding just a little bit outside of that top 10. But boy, the 46 of McKinney's making it seem like we're at a road course here tonight. Emerson, the pace that he is putting forth early on as he's going to make his way around a lap truck into 3 and 4 now with a 3-second lead on second place with fresh tires. Emerson, we're going to probably see that 46 push it as long as he can here tonight before that gap starts to close.
Absolutely, as he makes easy work then of Walt Lepicki and Jason Tripp clearing past the 64 machine, and they figure it out. They duel it out then. I believe that, yeah, for the 26th position. And we await pit stops and the pit strategy to open up tonight. Here comes Michael Madden to the inside of his inverse car number. Madden by Greathouse.
And I think all these guys, a great house. I got to take my hat off to him. He held down that second spot for as long as he can. He is the highest position truck on that old equipment. And you're going to see him now. He is about sliding up to that middle lane, the high side lane in the corners. That probably allowed the 15 of Michael Madden to get around as they're now going to make their way around a lap truck into 3 and 4. Madden, though, has a long way to go if he wants to catch that draft to the 46.
And I like what you mentioned there, right on those old tires. This is very hard to overtake here. You see Danny Dow sliding behind the lap machine van of Walt Lepig, but there's 4 trucks on those old tires still inside the top 10. You look at Jeff Radke, of course, the driver who won stage number 1 in that 3 machine. You look at last season's champion, Ben Park, won with the Tank Racing team last season, now with Bird Dog Racing, that 3rd truck on old tires, and Austin DeLong in the 89 machine, a newcomer to Speed Racing Network, showing his stuff, being the 4th driver on those old tires. And oh, action on the front straightaway. Matthew Greathouse is back by Michael Madden, dueling it out with lap traffic. Jason Tripp, and now Danny Dow are trying to get around the outside. Things have spiced up here. Jeff Radke into the mix.
It is mucho caliente down the backstretch here in the Milwaukee Mile as Daniel Dow is now trying to hold it down, but he has got a fast, chromed out machine of the 3 of Radke, who was inside the top 3, top 5 for the majority of tonight's race, although those cautions bumped him back just a little bit, now trying to make his way back up the grid.
Andrew Harris is in that 87 machine. And so, pit cycle for the lead lap vehicles have commenced.
And Emerson, I don't know about you, but I'm getting anxious up here in the booth watching the old equipment, new equipment, what that's all going to come down to here as we approach the 50 to go mark here in the Fiverr Truck Series at the Milwaukee Mile. Who's going to have the advantage? Is it going to be the drivers with the old equipment? Is it going to be the drivers with the new equipment? Of course, we have drivers right now still inside the top 10 racing on equipment. Last time down pit road was lap 41. These other drivers last time down was lap 56. Who will have the advantage down the stretch? We'll wait and see here with about 50 laps to go.
Well, that advantage is about to shift as we begin green flag pit stops. Jeff Radke is in that number 3 machine. And now if you're somebody in that top 5, right, like Matthew Greathouse or Dalton McKinney, right, you look to see, oh boy, that driver inside the top 5 who had a lot of pace earlier, he is just pitted. Even if you're out there on 15 lap fresher tires, it's got to be going through your mind, Will, you might just have to come in to cover that stop off.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we saw the wash there in that run of the drivers with the new equipment compared to the old equipment. All those guys started to come up there. There was a few lingerers,
here's the leader,
if you will. Here comes the leader of the 46 of McKinney. We'll see how that switch
and
happens here.
Caution on the speedway. Dylan Godinez has had an accident off of turn number 4, and this changes everything. Oh my goodness.
It's a huge question now, Emerson. As a driver, do you head down now? Do you push it a little bit now? Do you see the entire field head down pit road as we started to see green flag pit stops before that caution flag flew? A lot of strategies now have to be thrown out the window late in this race.
Let's see what happened to Dylan Godinez. Looks like he was attempting to make a pit stop here. Is contacted on the rear end there by the 87 of Andrew Harris, and Godinez goes for a ride off of turn number 4. Those rear tires spinning. That means Godinez is trying to throttle up to keep it out of traffic. Eventually gives up. He'll lock down the brakes, comes to a complete stop, and iRacing will detect that as a stopped vehicle on the track and will roll the necessary virtual safety equipment to retrieve the 88 machine. One more time, then look at Godinez. Contacted, big time contact then from the 87 of Andrew Harris.
And we know Harris in the 87 was probably a little steamy inside that cockpit. I think he had that Kyle Busch mentality after that racing stripes on the right side of that truck.
And so Matthew Greathouse, Ben Park, they all come in. The driver was not pitted, and I'd imagine maybe is a mistake. Then Sean Corcoran. Other than that, he's gotten himself a lap led in that 43 machine. But Dalton McKinney takes the race lead. Michael Madden second, and Greathouse comes off the pit lane in third. Dan and Ben Park fourth and fifth. Off the pit lane, scored fifth and sixth. We await Sean Corcoran. I'd imagine will be working his way to the service of his pit crew relatively shortly. Well, as we work under this fourth caution period of the evening, this gives us another moment to give a shout out to our commercial partner here at the Speed Racing Network, Butt Kicker. A message from them. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, race fans, back to virtual West Allis, Wisconsin. Here on the iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations platform. It is the Speed Racing Network Fiverr Truck Series, working round number 5 of 20 on this season 5 calendar. We just have had our 4th caution period of the evening. It is coming to a close. The field in the hands of Dalton McKinney. And we'll work our way down to the racetrack as Dalton McKinney and Michael Madden on the front row as that iRacing.com safety vehicle will find its safety in the pit lane by making that left-hand turn behind that concrete wall that lines front straightaway. Dalton McKinney leads us back to the green and he spins the tires. Michael Madden is going to the point. Here comes Dan Park. A chaotic start at that, and the caution is going to come back out. And this one is gonna hurt Will. This is our stage winner in trouble.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate right there for that 3 machine. As I mentioned here tonight, very fast throughout tonight's race, and boy, it looks like it's just going to be just a innocent bystander there as you see that truck getting sideways on the corner. Man, that's so heartbreaking for the 3 machine.
We're going to go back to the restart here because it looks like a lot was going on here. It looked like the 38 Ven of Nathan Nixon was in trouble. And 4 wide, Holloman comes up, clips the 38, and boom, clips the 3 of Radke. Looks like no major damage. It does make contact with the wall, but it looks like no major damage. Not race ending, certainly. 4 of a 3 of Radke, but that one's got to hurt. All that progress that was made up, gone that quickly. And gotta think here, Will, that was a very chaotic restart. I wonder if the admins are going to look back on what happened here. And look at this one. I mean, look at where the 87 is coming from. I mean, oh my goodness. That is a Kyle Busch Sprint Unlimited restart if I've ever seen, or Bud Shootout restart if I've ever seen one. And I don't actually think he causes the accident, but that may get a look or two from the race directors, if you will.
Yeah, I'm sure Radke's not going to be very happy about that because you see on this replay on the Speed Racing Network, Radke was more focused on getting around the truck in front of him on the entry of the corner. He had no idea what was happening behind him until that truck was sideways into the wall.
But Blair came up not knowing he was 4 wide for what it's worth. Clips the 38 then of Nixon, and Nixon comes around and clips the 3 of Jeffrey Radke, our stage winner.
And actually looking at it from that angle, Emerson, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think there's a lot of damage to the 3 machine of Radke. I think he did a great job of spinning that thing, a Tony Hawk 360 on the racetrack. I think just barely touched that top side wall. So I think we'll see that 3 making moves again.
But an aggressive dive from the 3 to force Holloman into that reaction. Holloman reacts to the 3 of Radke, diving it down the inside, comes up, makes contact with the 38, unknowingly 4 wide at that moment as well. And that contact with the 38 comes around full circle and clips the 3 of Radke. And if you want to make it in some weird twisted way, you could say Radke unfortunately might have caused his own demise right there. Half
Absolutely.
of it. I'd say there was a lot going on that restart.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that 3, as you mentioned, he was further back on that pack. He was trying to make moves. He was actually trying to make a move in the entry of 1. And I think it just has to go back to Emerson to that restart there where the 46 maybe spun the tires. It causes that accordion effect, that domino effect all the way down the grid, especially into 1 and 2. And I think that's what brought out that caution. But let's talk about our new race leader, Michael Madden, up 12 spots from the drop of the green flag. He is in that penthouse position.
And look who he brought with him, Daniel Park, driver who's looking for his first ever Speed Racing Network victory, is now starting on the front row with 41 laps to go. He's on fresher tires than the car that was inside. And then you have the fast and the furious guys of McKinney and Greathouse who have been up front all day. DeLong and Park have been fighting through the midfield all day. This one is going to be intriguing. Let's try this one again as we restart from our 5th caution period here at the Milwaukee Mile. VIRacing.com. Safety cool. Once again, try to find that safety in the pit lane. That was the only place safe on the last restart. Madden leads us back to green. That restart much tamer, much cleaner from the entirety of the field. As we come off of turn 4, there's a lot of packed up racing back here though. 3x3x3. Castellanos emerging out of this gaggle. Dow nearly contacting the 17. Holloman in trouble, dropping back. Radke wants a piece of the action. Harris nearly into the fence.
These are all battles to stay inside the top 20. The 87 of Harris, of course, with that right side damage. Looks like he got that repaired down pit road. A lot of these guys want to try to crack inside the top 15, maybe even get a top 10 finish out of this race as we're going to make it 38 laps to go into corner number 1.
38 to go from the Milwaukee Mile. 1 mile of racetrack, 38 times round, 38 miles to settle it here in West Allis, Wisconsin. And it's Dow now cleared. The 13th, Castellanos 14th. Radke under attack from 15th around. Sean Corcoran 16th. Holloman, Nixon, Harris, and Cracky the rest of the top 20. And here's Radke on Castellanos.
And Emerson, I don't mean to jump back up to the top of the grid, but Dalton McKinney just ran our fastest lap of the race. He ran a 30.9. He is quick, fast, in a hurry here tonight. Locked in on the back bumper of the 15 of Madden into 3 and 4. He's trying to put those tiger stripes back into the lead off of corner number 4. He's going to look to the inside, probably into 1 and 2 as we cross that start-finish line.
And you're right about that one, Will, at 30.92. The only driver to break that 31-second barrier tonight in the caution on the speedway. This one, Nathan Nixon, goes round. Battle we just left here, and that battle for the lead will be put on hold as we investigate this 6th pause in action tonight. This one involving the 38 of Nathan Nixon, battling it out with what looks to be the 43 of Sean Corcoran. Slow motion replay, and that is going to be another driver contacted from the rear by the 87 of Andrew Harris, and Harris is going to have a long night in the hauler after this one. Looks to be no massive damage to the 38 machine, and the 55 then of Jason Green gets away unscathed, but you'd have to imagine the admins are not taking kindly to the 87 machine tonight.
No, and I think it just stems from that original incident where he got pushed down the grid a little bit, had to fight through a hornet's nest, got put up into the wall there, but it was also very aggressively blocking there for position, so and able to get around the 87. He did get squeezed up into that top side wall, and I think he's taking that a little personal the rest of this race.
Certainly, I think he's driving with some aggression, right? With something to prove. Andrew Harris was up there. He was defending very well. Some heroic defending earlier, by the way. Some brilliant driving from Andrew Harris, but this not so brilliant. Making contact with the rear end there, the 38. Second driver he's come into contact with the rear end with in a very short succession tonight. And somehow Nixon and Jason Green find a way to not get all torn up in that.
And it looks like, to me, we did have some takers down pit road there, Emerson. Dalton McKinney in that 46 heads down. Michael Madden heads down. James Jackson, we haven't called his name at all here tonight. He headed down. Daniel Park, Andrew Harris in the 87, of course, we just saw him. He headed down as well. That leaves only 4 trucks up there. Jason Kratke, Sean Cochran, Ben Park, and Austin DeLong, our new race leader with 34 laps to go.
And so Austin DeLong now takes control of this race. He's got himself, Ben Park, Sean Corcoran, and Jason Kratke, those 4 drivers who have not pitted as his only shield to the drivers on 4 fresh ones. And maybe we'll, if they have a set of tires waiting for them in the pits, will, if they don't lose too much track position and we get another one of these magic yellow cloths, you have to imagine that could be an intriguing piece of strategy, say if it were to come out in 10-15 laps time.
Absolutely. And the way this race started, I wouldn't have predicted to have 6 cautions here tonight. It was very calm, cool, and collected, single file most of that first stage of the race. And I really think once these drivers started to anticipate or started to count down these laps, Emerson, that's when you started to see that volume turn up, get a little hot here in Milwaukee. You're starting to see it now with new race leaders. Now these guys are going to have to put in work with that pit stop.
Absolutely. And from then on, I mean, it's not all cut and dry with what happened on pit lane. How about a new player into the top 10 tonight? This might be the first time we're calling his name outside of the starting grid. James Jackson in the 29 machine had a 10-second stop on the pit lane. McKinney had a 9-second stop, but James Jackson is up in 7th position. And I really can't recall saying his name outside of the starting grid. This is some great strategy call from the 29. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, and he's running very good lap times here tonight as well. Put up a 31.2. That puts him around the 10 to 15 position marker in tonight's race. Now inside that top 10, only bested by 2 positions from Rob Yost Jr. in that 83, who's up 17 spots for that hard charger here tonight. And you see James, he might be one of those sleepers behind the wheel of that Ford here on this restart.
And the iRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety behind that concrete wall parallel to the front straightaway. Austin DeLong leads us to green. 31 remain from Milwaukee. Very intriguing restart. DeLong trying to get away from the mess. And it is now Ben Park sat in second, trying to fend off Michael Madden, who's got to run to the inside. Madden drives it in deep, 15 on 13. Contact, and Madden's going to go around hard into the outside wall. Oh,
wow.
My goodness.
And you talked about Fast and Furious, Emerson. I look back to Too Fast, Too Furious, where they let all of those cars out of the warehouse at one time. That's what it looked like to me on that restart. Everybody was jockeying for a position. Unfortunately, the 15 of Madden's going to get the worst of it here.
This one, and we may have to watch this one back, but looked like really hard racing there. And maybe Ben came down a little bit. Maybe Madden came up. We'll have to go back a little bit more to really decipher what happened. But big time impact to the truck. That sparkle and shine. Not so shiny anymore. And that 15 machine. And we'll see if we can go back on this one. And this, try to decipher, try to break this one down a little bit more. We'll keep this one in slow motion. Now this is they have already entered into the corner. Man sliding up, Park angled down. And I think this one may be a hard, long review in the stewards hauler post race, right? But I'm gonna chalk that one up to hard racing. Both drivers were going for the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, absolutely, Emerson. And I think in a situation like that, it's so hard to call that. Both drivers racing their lines and just the slightest move up top there, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it just spells disaster because they're racing so tight on the corner here. Both of them want to get to the inside lane, and that's just such a tough call there. Unfortunate for the 15.
Very unfortunate, by the way. Michael Madden did everything, I think, right. Very aggressive restart, by the way. Madden, by the way, shooting out of a cannon. This is a lap before. Michael Madden, and we'll watch this one in its entirety. Michael Madden trying to clear the 43 of Corcoran. Clears by, and we'll get to watch all of this one unfold from atop the grandstands here at the virtual Milwaukee Mile. I mean, that's a little bit of both. I'd imagine right there. You saw Madden continue to slide up after the center of the corner, but Ben Park is also angled down. I really think that it's on both of them. But yeah, I would chalk that up to racing incident. A hard racing incident.
Very, very tough indeed. But Emerson, through all that chaos and calamity, mama, here comes that man again. The 46 of McKinney is back up at the top position. He has the 13 of Ben Park behind him, and Mr. James Jackson now is officially our hard charger, up 19 spots from the drop of the green flag up to third here with 26 laps to go.
How about that? The beneficiary from a chaotic and wild restart then is the 29 of James Jackson. I wouldn't count him out. If you're up this far, you're going to go for that race victory that is dangling in front of you. And this restart, Will, is going to happen with 25 miles to go. That is a lot of racing, but if James Jackson, is on... Well, he's on the same aged tires as Dalton McKinney. Fresher tires than Ben Park. This one is going to be... This is going to be a dogfight.
I'm ready for it. I know the folks at home are ready for it here, Emerson. I know we're eager for this restart. I don't think we've seen the last of that caution flag wave here tonight.
I don't believe so either. And so, once again, VIRacing.com safety vehicle turns that hard left-hand turn in the pit lane. The field in the hands of Dalton McKinney, and racing commences once again from the Milwaukee Mile. will go round that time. 24 to go from Milwaukee. It's Ben Park now trying to, oh, we got a car sliding. That's brother Dan. Dan Park slides to the inside. He's going to lose a lot of spots here, but he'll keep that 7 truck somewhat under control, and they are all packed up behind him, 3 by 3.
And we talked about Andrew Harris in the 87. They might have to talk to him in victory lane because currently he is up to 4th. James Jackson is now taking that 3rd spot away. But boy, look at this hornet's nest heading down the front stretch into 1 and 2. All of these guys want to crack inside the top 15.
The speedway.
Caution
Sean
is
Kozer.
out once again, Emerson. There we go.
Oh my goodness. And junk him up on the front straightaway. Sean Kozer. Jeffrey Vickery involved in this one, and what's that old saying? Cautions breed cautions. Nothing more true than that tonight here at the virtual Milwaukee Mile, and we're gonna catch this incident a little late, but we'll watch what we've got thus far. Contacted there, the 89 of DeLong, the 97 of Kozer, and Kozer back down the racing surface. And goodness gracious, nowhere for Jeff Vickery to go in that one. Try to see this one through a little while longer. This one off of turn 4. Here we go, slow-mo. And it's Sean Kozer in the middle. Going way up above that second seam and then comes back down. There's 3 wide, of course. It's Nixon on the bottom, and I think Kozer's going to come up. Wow, that is the 89 event of DeLong is still out there at the quarter panel, and that one is going to be a good old-fashioned not clear. That one is unfortunate. They were long on straightaway. Kozer was just trying to get by the 89, but did not have the run or the traction out of that traction zone to get the pass completed. Kozer came up, and well, the 89 was still there.
What a race, though, here tonight. I gotta say, we've had everything we can ask for. You couldn't write a script this good here tonight, Emerson. We've had lead changes, caution flags. We'll watch it once again here. It's just been a crazy race so far. We thought we had clear race winners there at the midway point, even 75% through this race. And now with less than 25 laps to go, it's really anybody's race down the stretch.
Absolutely. We've got a wild one on our hands here, and it doesn't seem to be calming down any, Will, and it's going to be our job to sift through the chaos and differing pit strategies to figure out who will be the one with $30 more in their pocket after tonight's race here at the Milwaukee Mile. 129 laps complete. Working lap number 130. 20 laps to go. It is Dalton McKinney from Ben Park, James Jackson, Andrew Harris, Sean Corcoran, Blair Holloman, Dominic Abatello, Dan Park, Danny Dow, Bruce Amsden, the top 10, Jeffrey Radke, Matthew Greathouse, Jose Castellanos, Nathan Nixon, Austin DeLong, Wally Babb, Sean Kozer, Rob Yost, Jason Kratke, and Jason Green. The top 10, Dylan Godinez, Jeffrey Vickery. The rest of the lead lap 22. Then on the lead lap. And, well, we have gone just about everything tonight in what is the first short track race of the season for the Fiverr Truck Series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the folks at home are wondering how the 87 at Harris climbed back up through the grid. But what I'm watching here on this restart as well, Emerson, we talked about that little battle between the 10 of Holloman and the 87 of Harris. That put the 87 of Harris on the top side wall. Now there's only one truck that separates those two here on this restart.
And so here we go. We'll try this one more time. to resume from the 8th stoppage in action this evening. The field in the hands of Dalton McKinney. VIRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane, and racing commences once again from Milwaukee. Dalton McKinney has a 4/10 of a second advantage over Ben Park. Andrew Harris trying to slice his way forward on the tail end of the 13 truck. 29 of James Jackson wants to get back onto the podium here. Very aggressive drivers all up front tonight. McKinney's had the pace. Park, previous champion of the, well, last season's champion. Harris, he has been driving with some aggression tonight, and James Jackson with a great run up through the field, and now Harris with the run around the outside on Ben Park. Not over yet. 16 to go. Park able to hold on to second. Harris trying to get down to the inside.
The 87 is trying to do everything he can to rebound. As you see, Park gets a little agitated from the move of the 87. The 87 is choosing to go to the top side to get around the 13. Now we'll follow right back behind the 13 machine off of corner number 4. He is bobbing and weaving to the back bumper of the 13 of Park. But what this allows is Dalton McKinney to look in his rear view. No, he is free and clear off of corner number 2.
And you see Andrew Harris is trying to get that crossover. It'll backfire there as James Jackson, who started 22nd on the grid tonight, is in 3rd position at one of the hardest tracks to make overtakes at tonight. And he is sitting pretty with 15 laps to go.
James Jackson, as you mentioned, could be the sleeper, could be the underdog in tonight's race. Currently, our hard charger up 19 spots from the drop of the green flag. Just has to catch the back bumper, the 13 of Park, who has old equipment. Last time down pit road for Park was up 102. That's about 14 lap difference between this pack and Park in that 13. But we see battles raging on in 3 and 4.
This is Greathouse and Abatello and Amsden all dueling it out for that last spot inside the top 10. Greathouse sideways. Abatello around the outside. Ratke pushing the 51. Another attack from the 28 of the 2 of Danny Dow. All over one another. The 89 of DeLong trying to hold on to what he's got. Dow fights back.
And for both of these guys, Emerson, sorry about that. They're both trying to crack back inside the top 10. Both Dow and Ratke right there were both inside the top 5, top 10 area. Now trying to get something out of this race after some troubles later on in this run.
Absolutely. It's been a up and down day for most of the field. It's been up and down all over the running order. Here's Dan Park with a run on Blair Holloman. Park inside of the 10 machine, he'll clear up, and in the 5th for Daniel Park. And this is going to be a banner run for Dan if he's able to settle this one tonight. Misses the entry a little bit into 1, but Dan Park having, I dare say, a career run for the 7 machine.
Yeah, very fast here tonight, up 6 spots from the drop of the green flag and a prime spot with 11 laps to go. Our race leader is building that now to a 2.5 seconds off of corner number 4 for Park, though. He has to try to get around a man who's a little heated in that cockpit, the 87 of Harris, with 10 laps to go here in the Fiverr Truck Series.
And Dan Park wants to join his brother Ben on that podium. He's got to get through the 87 and the 29 tonight. 10 laps to go, plenty of time. Does he have the truck to do so? Searching and surging, the 7 machine goes. He jumps up high, he drops down low. trying to get that run off of turn number 4. And a look the outside. Harris trying to block it, cuts across the inside of the 7, and around they both go. Park's gonna slide, he'll lose 1 spot. And Andrew Harris with a block there goes around. A caution's going to come out, and it'll be back up above the racetrack so high to decipher what happened here in this one. And here we go. Let's look above. And a slow-mo, and there was a truck down there, Andrew. There was a truck down there. Dan, trying to avoid hitting the 87 that second time, locks up the rear brakes. Holloman goes on by. How about a great catch from the 7 and a great catch from the 87? See that one again. And again, just hard racing, right? But both drivers with great catches. By the way, to lose only 1 and 3 spots in that entire exchange, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. No damage to either one of those trucks. Either the 7 of Park is trying to get up to his brother and Ben Park in that second spot. I think we're going to have a Park battle there at the end of this race. And for Dalton McKinney, I talked about right before this caution flag flew, had about a 1.5 second lead. Now we're going to be re-racked back up as we check out this replay once again.
That one's hard to tell, right? We're also getting that one a little late, right? Where do you start lifting for the corner, right? Is Dan still going full bore into the turn? I don't know, but for sure that he was still down there, at least a nose underneath the quarter panel, and they were consistently battling at that moment. It's hard to say. Hard racing though, once again. But they continue on. Neither one of them severely damaged, and really any of them damaged in that one. But right, this is a this one is a very intriguing conclusion now. Andrew Harris has found his way into the pit lane once again in that 87 machine. I reckon there might be a set of tires waiting for him. We'll see, or if he's just coming in to check some damage. And he'll throw on a set of tires. Andrew Harris might not be done yet out of this race. He might have a say in the conclusion of this one. And so Andrew Harris is down and away in the 87 machine. And you're right, Will, you were mentioning the recap of what we've got going on. Is McKinney the dominant driver of the day thus far, out in front? Ben Park, last season's champion, trying to get himself his first win on the season. James Jackson, what a great story it'd be for him to go from 22nd to a fantastic finish tonight. Dan Park also having a banner day in that 7 machine, has had pace most of the day to run well inside the top 10, and Dan now with a chance up front. Blair Holloman up 13 from where he started. Sean Corcoran there in 6th. Matthew Greathouse, our pole sitter, sat 7th. Dominic Abatello up 12 from where he started in 8th. Danny Dow, Jeffrey Ratke, the top 10. Will 4 laps to settle it when we get back to racing.
Yeah, for me, Emerson, as we come down to 3 and 4, awaiting the drop of the green flag, it all comes down to this restart, in my opinion. We've seen the 46 machine spin those tires on one of those restarts. Now, whether the 46 can get a good launch here or not, that could be the difference of who wins this race.
Absolutely. Now, for the 46, he does have 14 lap fresher tires in second place, Ben Park. But with all these cautions and all these heat cycles, the age of the tires might not mean all that much. The iRacing.com said if we go into safety pit lane, McKinney jumps away fast on that restart, clears Ben Park, 4 to go. The field roars to life off of turn number 2. Everybody in one piece as they head down the back and a lockup from the 46.
Dalton McKinney off of 4 here will get the 3 to go. Throw rope those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt as Dalton McKinney is now separating from Park in that 13 machine. He is trying to make his dinner reservations for his victory dinner off of corner number 2.
2.5 laps to go, 2.5 miles to settle it here at Milwaukee. Dalton McKinney has placed that truck perfectly all night long, and this time by it'll be 2 laps to go from Milwaukee, and it's just under a minute away from getting this one done.
Are trying to do everything he can in that 13 just to catch that draft coming off the 46 to maybe put a move on him late here tonight. Down the backstretch with 2 laps to go. It might not be enough as we enter into 3 and 4, where we see a big battle for third raging on into the corner.
Dan Park wants a piece of the action. He wants to get onto the podium. Dan's gonna shove the 29 up wide, no contact. Dan powers by, and Dan is cleared into third. 1 lap to go from Milwaukee, and it's Dalton McKinney over the Park brothers.
Dalton and McKinney
We got
will
a
take
truck
us
around
off.
as Blair Holloman in trouble in turn 1. The 10 machine pounds the arts out wall. And into turns 3 and 4, Park has to fend off James Jackson, but Dalton McKinney has to fend off no one. Long clear. Dalton McKinney wins it at Milwaukee.
Absolute master class of a race for Dalton McKinney. He's been a top 3 truck all night long. Shout out to Lionel Richie. He also has the fastest lap of the race, the only driver to crack inside 30.9 here tonight. Those tiger stripes do sure look good in that 46 in victory lane.
A fantastic race. I got to give a shout out there to James Jackson. While he is not our podium finisher tonight, what a great run from him. So I believe he is hard charger, then 1 spot over Rob Yost's 17. And a well-deserved celebration then for the 46 of Dalton McKinney, as he burns it down on the front straightaway here at Milwaukee. The winner then out of Fret Level Midnight Motorsports, with worthy cause to celebrate an API's victory lane this evening. And I believe that's what we're gonna get out of the 46, and we'll go ahead and bring on up our race winner this evening, Dalton McKinney. And Dalton, what a phenomenal race put on today. Led early, lost out the stage to teammate Jeff Radke, but after the pit road mishap, it was pretty much on from there. Chaotic, caution-filled second stage, but you survived to the end, Dalton. Describe the wild nature of this race.
Yeah, I feel like you explained it pretty well. I think I was probably second quick to my teammate. He had some bad luck, and he even recovered pretty well a time or two, and then just got stuck with bad cautions while he was pitting. And he definitely taught me a lot. I bought and downloaded this track on Sunday, and we practiced for about an hour. I practiced a couple hours before the race started today, and just kept making lap after lap. This track is like nothing we're on the entire season, so I wanted to be prepared, and it was a good way to see the hard work pay off.
And you certainly looked prepared tonight. A lot of pace out of most of y'all out of Fret Level Midnight Motorsports. Now you get that victory to your name tonight, Dalton, and that will effectively lock you in to the playoffs. And so, Dalton, then how do you go about the rest of your season now, knowing that you got that monkey off your back?
At this point, it's just all fun. Try to collect as many wins as we can. There's a lot of fast guys in here, including all my teammates. So it's nice to get there with Corey. I know he won there at Kansas, where I felt like I kind of let that one get away. So nice to recover here and get another third level car in victory lane.
It certainly was a fast team tonight. Fret Level Midnight Motorsports and Dalton McKinney get it done tonight here at Milwaukee. Congratulations on the win, and best luck to you next week at Darlington, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. I also want to thank my girlfriend. She was watching tonight, Caitlin, all my teammates, and my painter, Johnny. He does really good with all these paints. He actually didn't make this one. It's funny I say that. Jeff Radke made this paint. But I wanted to give Johnny a shout out. He watches a lot of the race. And thank you guys for doing this broadcast. I look forward to watching it and learning some even more from it moving forward. Thank you, guys.
Sounded like a blast tonight, Ven, to you tonight, Dalton, and you have a blast watching this one back because it was wild. Congratulations on the win, brother.
Thanks, man.
That was our race winner this evening, and second place finisher Ben Park. He's going to be standing by with Will Tiller. And Will, you have the opportunity to interview last season's champion and podium finisher tonight, Ben Park.
Yeah, absolutely. As the Park brothers finish on the podium here tonight, I am joined by Benjamin Park here, who finishes second, just one spot above his brother. Ben, take us through this race here tonight. It had everything: lead changes, caution flag, strategy towards the end. Take us through this race here at the Milwaukee Mile.
It was a tough one. I don't know. Everything was messed up to start with. We didn't get very much practice with the setup. We kind of just winged it for most of the race. It's tough racing, though. Hard to pass. Just blocking. Lots of blocking.
Absolutely. And let's talk about that. And I just looked at that. You had equipment that was about 14 laps older than both your brother Daniel and Dalton McKinney, our race leader. How are you able to keep that 13 machine locked in that podium when you had so many fast trucks behind you?
It was just, I mean, I was fast the whole time, but I saved my tires really well, and all the restarts helped out a ton. And James Jackson racing everybody that was like in fourth. He raced everybody really hard. Everybody was racing really hard, but I was able to put big gaps in, good laps after the restarts, cool off the tires.
Absolutely. We saw it there with your brother finishing in third. And for Bird Dog Racing, does this sort of build up some momentum going forward here to know that you guys can perform well at, we call it a short track. It's not a true short track per se, but definitely with a performance like this, does this sort of put some confidence behind the wheel of that 13 moving forward?
I mean, I'm probably overconfident most of the time. So I'm always confident. I know that being the defending champion, it puts a lot of pressure on me to perform.
Absolutely. And you performed well here tonight, taking home that second spot. Of course, you have those family bragging rights as well, beating your brother by that one spot. Anybody you wanted to shout out here tonight, or any sponsors you wanted to thank?
Well, first off, I need to apologize to Michael Madden. I did not mean to turn him. I was just trying to get behind him and follow him. I misjudged it. It's completely on me. But I got to thank Bird Dog for giving me the opportunity to drive for him. K&N Filters. I got to thank you guys for putting on the great show. You guys always do. My grandma for watching. Brother for putting in another good run for the Park Boys.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. Ben, can't wait to see you next week here in the Fiverr Truck Series. That was the driver, the number 13 machine, Benjamin Park. But Emerson, I believe you're catching up with another Park brother, the 7 machine, a Daniel Park, who will take home the 3rd position here tonight.
Absolutely. Driver of the number 7, Dan Park. Dan, a phenomenal run for you tonight in that tank racing number 7 machine. Tell us how you were feeling after getting that one done tonight.
Man, I'm ecstatic. Best finish I've ever had in SRN now, after 5th a couple years going to Dover. I'm ecstatic with this finish.
So I was right. I was thinking to myself, is this a career run then for you, Dan? And I'm glad you'll validate my thinking there. But Dan, it has been a struggle, nonetheless here in SRN for you tonight. It finally comes to fruition tonight with a podium at a very difficult track, one that demonstrates driver skill and discipline. What do you think this says about you being able to get it done tonight? A podium at the Milwaukee Mile.
I think it puts me down as a contender to battle these guys for from now on. I feel like I've been fast every race this season. It's just I've had bad luck getting caught up in wrecks and other people's wrecks. And this time I was able to complete the race and put it P3.
Right, and this is going to be some great momentum shifted into your favor heading into Darlington. Dan, you're down 33rd in points before today's race. This is certainly going to be a boost in your favor. First of all, what does that mean to you? I mean, I know you're on different teams, but to join your brother on a podium,
It's amazing. I love racing with him. He's always clean. And same with most, like a lot of the people in here are always clean with me. I haven't had any problems with anybody. I do have to apologize to Andrew Harris. I wasn't trying to wreck him at all. I was just going for the position.
but there it is, Dan. Next week is Darlington. How do you feel about your chances to get another good run in for that 7 machine?
I'm liking all the short tracks. I'm a big fan of Darlington. I was a big fan of Milwaukee, and it was definitely now one of my favorite tracks.
Well, there you are, driver of the number 7. Daniel Park finishes in the 3rd position tonight. Congratulations on the podium, Dan, and best luck to you at Darlington.
Thank you, sir.
And that will conclude our post-race interviews tonight. Will, that was well, first of all, some apologies coming out. Gotta, of course, commend these drivers for being honest and taking responsibility for when stuff happens on the track. It's racing, right? Accidents will happen. Even professionals that they'll crash from time to time. But these guys, to acknowledge that in pretty serious tones as well, like not necessarily seeming like joking manners either. Commendable there. But a fun race tonight. Wild one. As you can tell probably by the apologies, those are just 2 that we heard. There's probably a lot going on throughout the field. But Will, takeaways from tonight before we get to our race results.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that first half of the race was very calm, cool, and collected, single file. We thought we had a clear race winner in that. And then the volume started to turn up. The intensity started to turn up. The caution flag started to fly, Emerson. We had 9 cautions here tonight on the racetrack. Throughout all of that, though, Dalton McKinney stayed as cool as the other side of the pillow here tonight. Put on a masterclass at the Milwaukee Mile.
Absolutely. It was Dalton McKinney getting it done tonight here at the Milwaukee Mile. Ben and Dan Park, the brothers, finished 2nd and 3rd. James Jackson, for a great run tonight, will come home in 4th. Matthew Greathouse, our pole sitter, finishes in 5th. Sean Corcoran will come across the line in 6th. Dominic Abatello finishes 7th. Dylan Godinez, 8th. Jeffrey Radke, our stage 1 winner, will finish 9th tonight. And Danny Dow, with a great run tonight, will bring it home in 10th. The next 10, Will?
Yeah, looking at Austin DeLong's going to finish 11th. Josh Green at 55 is going to finish 12th. Rob Yost Jr., he is a big mover in this race in the 83 machine. He'll finish 13th, up 17 spots from the drop of the green flag. Ollie Babb in that 99 will finish 14th. Jason Kratky in that 54 will finish 15th. Jeffrey Vickery up 13 spots from the drop of the green flag will finish 16th here tonight. Nathan Nixon, we saw some big speed out of him here tonight, will finish 17th. Bruce Armisen will finish 18th. Jose Castellanos 19th, and Sean Kaiser will round out our top 20.
Wrap up our field tonight. Troy Techmeyer finishes 21st. It'll be Andrew Harris coming across the line in 22nd this evening. Blair Holloman finishes in 23rd. Jason Tripp, 24th. He'll be 2 laps off the pace. Walt Lepicki finishes in 25th. Also 2 laps off the pace with Derek Silva, 26th. Nicholas Lawrence, 27th. 3 laps off the pace. Sean Griffith, 28th. 5 laps down. Michael Madden, his race comes to a conclusion tonight relatively early, 29th position, 10 laps off the pace. Adam Schaefer with a weird out then for the 21 machine, 106 laps down. Corey Stahl, last week's winner, inverses that finishes 31st, last of the running trucks tonight. And yeah, that I think is really going to conclude the majority of the coverage tonight. Will, like you said, a very entertaining race, a wild race, right? But of course, we couldn't have put on this show with all of our partners here at Speed Racing Network. Of course, a shout out to all of our series partners, our Fiverr, our Glitch, and our Z Grills series sponsors. Admin Box, of course, has been on your screen all night tonight. Use code SRN-BOX, that is BOXX, for 10% off of your Admin Box purchases. Butt Kicker, of course, our commercial sponsor on the series, for Speed Racing Network. EPI, of course, presenting Victory Lane, and Select Blinds, of course, providing all of your incident replays this evening. Well, Will, I'd say it was a great show tonight. Any final comments before we wrap this one up?
I just can't wait to next week. We saw Corey Stahl winning that 33 last week. Here he inverts that finish. We see a huge run out of the 46 Adult and McKinney. I think we're starting to see the meat and potatoes of this season warming up.
I'd say so. I would agree with that one. So a quick shout out to our social media platforms. Our Facebook page, of course, at facebook.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitter at Speed Racing Net. Our Instagram at Speed Racing Network. Our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitch at Speed Racing Net. Our LinkedIn, of course, linkedin.com/company/Speed Racing Network. And of course, the website where you can catch all of your news and updates of all the series here at SRN is speedracingnetwork.com. That'll do it then from the Milwaukee Mile. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all at Speed Racing Network, I had Will Tiller alongside myself, Emerson Arden, in the booth this evening. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night when the Glitch Truck Series heads to Milwaukee, or next Tuesday night when Fiverr trucks head to the track dubbed Too Tough to Tame.